All right, last thing I want to cover today is SaaS performance by category. So for the first time ever in the State of SaaS report, we did some kind of cohort analysis across the companies that we track. And so we broke them down and looked at them in three separate kind of categorizations, right? We looked at high growth SaaS companies versus low growth SaaS companies. We looked at PLG versus sales-led motion SaaS companies. And then we also broke them down into different categorizations. So we took the 35 companies that we track and we split them into four categories, right? Business apps, security apps, data apps, and then developer tools. And what I wanted to do here is to look at these different categories and to see how they stacked up in terms of some of the most popular SaaS metrics that we follow, right? The first one that we looked at was ARR growth rates, right? So how do ARR growth rates vary based on the category that the companies sit within? And what we can see here is that these data-focused companies are growing at a faster rate than anyone else, right? Their median growth rate in Q1 was 26%. At the other end of the spectrum, we've got the business apps with the median growth rate of 14%. Security came in at 22, the dev tools came in at 19, and the median across all of the companies that we track was at 18%. Right, so data companies winning the day here. As a reminder, the companies we've got in that category are Snowflake, Confluent, MongoDB, Pure Storage, and Palantir. Right, so these companies are growing almost 50% faster than the median company in our cohort. Right, now let's look at CAC payback rates. Again, data companies win the day here, right? 36-month median CAC payback period for them. Still not great, but much better than business apps, right? So business apps came in at 46-month CAC payback period, securities at 41, dev tools at 44, and the median across the companies that we track at 38 months, right? Next, we looked at sales and marketing spend by category. And what we can see here is that the business apps are spending the least on sales and marketing as a percentage of revenue. Now, the driving force here is likely that we've got much more mature companies in this cohort, right? So we've got companies like Salesforce, ServiceNow, Workday, who are kind of past this hyper growth phase and are more into the phase of kind of generating operating income and free cash flow, and therefore spend on sales and marketing, or their attempts to kind of capture market share are smaller than they once were, right? So they spend the least on sales and marketing at 35%. And then everyone else is pretty flat across the board, right? We've got 42% for security, data, and dev tools, and then the median comes in at 40%, right? If you found that kind of like breakdown interesting, check out the Q1 State of SaaS report, right? We've got the PLG versus sales-led growth, and then the high growth versus the low growth companies in there as well. So if you want to see how those different cohorts stack up, go and grab a copy of the report. There'll be a link to it here in the show notes.